Hello and welcome to the Buy, Refurbish, Refinance, Rent Wealth Builder Masterclass with me, Ella Attrill, property investor, developer and property coach. So before we jump into the content of this course today, here's a little bit of background about me. So I am a co-owner of Delaware Estates Limited. I set up this business with my partner and we scaled this business to 7 figures within the first 12 months and obviously beyond that in the last 3. So we've been in business for the last 9 years. I had a vet physio practice and my partner had a car dealership at the time. And we started to get involved in property 5 years ago when we bought a house and we were going to add value and flip it on because we thought that was the only way to make money in property. But we now have a portfolio of buy, refurbish, refinance houses, which we've converted to HMOs or serviced accommodation units. And we also have done commercial to residential redevelopments, which is basically the BRRR strategy, but supercharged. We also have single lets and rent to rents as well. And I've also been featured on the cover of Your Property Network magazine and various news stories and papers, which there's a selection of those on the bottom there. So this masterclass is for women who are looking to set up a property portfolio to transform their finances by having passive cash flow income streams. It's also for the women who are looking to put the equity that they have in their homes to good use and get it earning them some money. It's also for the women who are looking to leave their job, replace their income and scale up to 10K months. Very, very doable in 12 months. We are actually invested in BRRs and converting them to social housing houses as HMOs, and each of those properties will cash flow 2K. So it's only 5 houses in 12 months that you would need to get up to that 10K level. On that strategy anyway. There's plenty of other strategies that you can utilize, such as serviced accommodation, where you can get 3K months, 4K months, depending on your exit and the level of property that you're going for at the end. This is also for property investors who now need that extra support to maximize this strategy and want that community around them so that they can create true generational wealth. Who this is not for. So if you are looking to toe dip into property, this is not the course for you or the strategy for you. If you're on the fence and you're wondering whether or not it's going to work for you and you're unable to make that decision, this training will not work because I need you to go 100% into it. Property is not something that you want to go 25% in and just do it as, a little side hustle, because you may get lucky and you may make money. However, there is a lot of money involved when you invest in property and you really need to go 100% in. And I'm talking on the mindset level there, 100% in of that. You can absolutely do this alongside a full-time job and systemize things so that you don't have to physically be 100% in that aspect. I'm talking about the mind aspect of it all. You need to be 100% committed to do this. This is also not for you if you want a get-rich-quick scheme and not put in the work. You can absolutely make property a success in a relatively short period of time. However, if you don't think that you need to put in the work to get there, then you are absolutely wrong, and this is not for you. This is also not for you if you're not interested in building that long-term wealth paired with monthly passive cash flow. So if you do want those quick wins, then perhaps another strategy would be better suited to you, such as rent to rent or sourcing, where you can get that quick cash flow element, but you will not be able to create that long-term generational wealth that you can get by using this strategy. So I invite you to ask yourself, are you 100% in? Are you 100% in to doing this training today and to committing this time and setting it aside for your personal development to learn more about this strategy? And are you ready to learn the power of it all? because essentially this can create that unstoppable success within yourself and your finances. And you're going to learn a proven 4-step framework in order for you to do this today. It's really designed to provide you with an easy, clear way to master this strategy and to identify those opportunities so that you can maximize your returns. So what you're going to learn today, you will learn my signature 4-step framework to nail the BRRR strategy, which I have never released until now, apart from doing a very short reel, which is very surface level. So this is the first time I've released this strategy to the public. You're also going to find how to find these high quality projects so that you can add that significant value and leave no money left in the deals. We'll also look at high performing properties. So what exits would get you that high performance and that high cash flow after doing the refurbishment on the houses so that you can gain the maximum passive cash flow from it. So before we start, just grab yourself a pen and a paper because we have got a lot to get through today. Before we jump in though, I want to talk a little bit about the rewards of property. Now everybody's is going to be different, but this is what property has currently given me. So I now have the time freedom that if I don't want to work and I don't want to go and sit down and work on my business, then I don't necessarily have to. A lot of the time I do choose to because I love what I do now and I love coaching my clients and I love the transformation that can happen from that, and also investing in property itself. You know, there's so much creativity, and when you're working for your own business, you can really shape it how you want it to be. And it's really rewarding seeing that the efforts and the hard work that you put in is 100% yours as well. In my case, shared with my partner for my property business. And it's also given me that location freedom as well. So I live in Mallorca in a beautiful house in the mountains. And I just could not have imagined this was even possible for me a few years ago. My lifestyle was very, very different, and property has enabled me to live this dream lifestyle that I currently have. It's also given me that quality family time available. So when my daughter's off school, I have time free to be able to spend some time with her. I don't need to arrange childcare. And we've also got money to spend. And I also have a very expensive pet, which is my horse, as you can see there. And we have nice holidays. We're just going off to New York for Christmas, and a beautiful home, as you can see. This is my desk set up there in the summer. But it wasn't always this way. So as I said, I grew up in a very different lifestyle. I grew up in a council estate and we had no money whatsoever. My mum worked incredibly hard to keep a roof over our heads and to put food on the table, essentially. But as I grew up in that environment, I got involved with bad crowds, and there was a significant period of my life where I was abusing drink and drugs. And as a knock-on effect to that, I had no confidence in my capabilities. I had very toxic relationships, incredibly high anxiety and regular panic attacks. I also fell into a career I hated because, one, it was a career that I could hide into, and two, a career that would pay for my horse at the end of it. So I picked to go into accountancy and finance, but it was really not a profession which served me in any way, and I felt exhausted and burnt out, and the only way that I felt that I could deal with it was by partying and, you know, just going through this vicious cycle essentially of feeling exhausted but then partying and all of the stuff. But I really did crave something more, and I knew that I was destined for more than just working a 9-to-5 and living paycheck to paycheck. So I dreamed of being able to travel and wanted to buy my own home essentially, but that felt so impossible at the time and so far away. Even though I earned fairly good money for my age in a good job, it was like didn't even feel like it was within my reach at the time because of the mindset issue. It probably was back then. So something had to give. I quit my accountancy job that I had in London, in Canary Wharf. I actually went traveling and decided to have this F this moment. And whilst I was traveling, I decided to retrain as a equine physio, and I did a veterinary physiotherapy course and launched my business, which was a huge success, and I absolutely loved it. And then I got pregnant, and the heavy lifting and the traveling was a massive challenge for me. It was one that I wasn't necessarily expecting, so it was a bit of a shock that I suddenly couldn't do what I absolutely love to do. And the business that I had grown and put so much hard work and effort into, I then had to cut into a quarter because I had a newborn baby. I did not want to put her into childcare at that early age. My partner had his own business. He was very busy. And a lot of my job was basically traveling to people. So I had to be realistic and cut that right back. And to be honest, I didn't even really want to go back to work so soon, but I kind of had to because I had clients and I needed the money. But a quarter of those clients equals a quarter of the money. So I felt incredibly financially disempowered because of that. And I just realized then that, yes, I had created a business and I had a job that I absolutely love, but I also had just created a job for myself and I didn't have any of those passive income streams that I could rely on whilst I had this time with my daughter off school, and there was that financial pressure on my head. So this is one of my favorite quotes. When your back is against the wall, there is only one thing to do, and that is to turn around and fight. So I quit my business and I took massive inspired action. With the internal drive and the external pressure, that equals results. So I went all in, decided that I'd walk away from the business that I created, which was very successful, and decided to go all into property because I could see the benefits and the payoffs that were available. So I did some property training and grew a location independent business with a 6-figure income. I now live in Mallorca, as I said before. I've built passive income streams from property, meaning that I generate income without working. So essentially I make money while I sleep. I've invested at least 50K into further mentorships and coaching so that I am very best for my family, for everybody that I coach. And I feel like I'm moving forward and being the very best that I can. And it's reflecting in my property business and also the results that my clients are getting as well. I've also been coaching and supporting women who are financially free themselves and raised multi-millions of pounds of private investor capital and donated to charitable funds. And I also have lots of plans to either set up or be heavily involved with women or animal charities as well, and or could be both. So I believe that it's time that us women stepped up and started to claim our financial empowerment, because just 1 in 5 millionaires are currently female. It's just a crazy statistic in itself. And every woman has the power to change their financial status. It is available and accessible for us all, regardless of our current reality. So 6 years ago, my reality was very, very different. And I lived in a council estate flat, which was rented. And now I look out the window, I've got mountain views behind me. It's just absolutely incredible. So regardless of where you are right now, you can absolutely change it, regardless of the challenges that you have. You just have to step out and claim it and activate that financial power for you. And with more money, there is a narrative with women that more money equals guilt. But the way that I see it is more money is the more good that you can do in the world. So statistically, women are more likely to invest in charitable causes than men. So imagine if there was more women in the world which were financially empowered, if that statistic of 1 in 5 became 2.5 in 5, and we were at the equal par as men, like how much good in the world could us women do? And that is what I'm here to change. So today I will be making you an offer on my Fempowered Property Academy. So this is a community of women that are working towards the same goals. There is a buy, refurbish, refinance course, which I will go into more detail about in these slides. And there is group coaching as well as guest expert speakers within this Property Academy. And I'll go through those details as we go on. So why invest in property? So regardless of market, people will always need somewhere to live, which means consistent income. You have the capital appreciation of well-sourced investments that will benefit from that capital appreciation over long periods of time, meaning that when you invest in property over a period of time, the economics and the charts say that property will go up over a period of time. You've only got to look back through the charts and see how much our property market has grown. And then you have the leverage aspect of it. We're actually really, really lucky in the UK that we can utilize the power of leverage. We do not know how lucky we are, because in other countries, this is definitely not something that's available to other people. So if we're not utilizing this, why not, is my question. We are so privileged to be able to do this. And property is a bankable asset, and therefore you can use it as leverage to grow your wealth quicker. The more property you have, the more you can leverage, the more you can make your wealth grow. There is also incredible tax benefits, and if you structure this properly, you can claim some hefty tax benefits and make your life tax deductible. And buying will always be smarter than renting. It will never be as vulnerable to short-term fluctuations such as stocks. So it's an incredible way to make money. This is how all the big guys make money. Excuse me, there's a lot of talking going on. So the time is now. There's a lot of negative talk in the media at the moment about recessions and everything like that. But I remember when I first started doing my property training, there was a lot of talk around Brexit and how the market was going to go down, and then COVID, and now obviously there's the recession. So those people that were saying all those things when I was doing my property training, they could have been making millions, but because they were scared and they wanted to see how Brexit was going to do, they just haven't taken any action. So don't be somebody that doesn't take action because they're influenced by outside circumstances, because we never truly know what those might be. But what we can do is make sure that we're structuring things so that it safeguards us in the eventuality that if something did happen with the market, then we are okay with that. And as time goes on, property is always going to go up. So therefore we're happy with that outcome. We just need to hold on to that property, but still benefit from that rental income in the meantime. So Brexit, COVID and a recession, some use this as a reason not to invest. Let's see the stats. More millionaires are major in recessions and Great Depressions than any other time. On average, property prices double every 10 years. And the average property price in the UK predicted by KPMG and Shelter is going to be 902,000. And that is in 2034. That's been predicted. It's currently around the 400 mark. Trends in previous decades will always see property increase. So you can do your own research and look back through property trends, and you can see how there is always growth in the long term. There may be dips and troughs, but over time, it always does go up. So why is this? This is because the UK property market will always be in demand because we have a supply shortage. So in 2017, the government set a target of 300,000 homes to be built annually, but have failed to meet that year upon year. This keeps our property market buoyant and currently and constantly in demand. We have also have an unmet housing need of 8.5 million people in the UK, and we've also taken on 84,000 refugees which need housing. So that just goes to show there is always a demand. So I'm just going to talk about the importance of education. So with any career, you need training to make it a success. A plumber would not set up a company and wing it through the process. Can you imagine if a surgeon did the same? Property investing is really no different. The people that try and go it alone, trust me, they make some expensive mistakes, and I blame Homes Under the Hammer for this. So you have a choice. You can either be uneducated, not know how to analyze deals, and earn less money, potentially lose a lot as well. Or you can be educated, have those good analysis skills, and earn a lot more, as well as all the extra benefits such as community and self-development as well. So let's jump into the strategy now. So as a little bit of an explanation behind buy, refurbish, refinance, rent strategy, it is a fantastic way to build a property portfolio quickly using only one pot of money, recycling the cash again and again whilst building passive income streams and assets for wealth building. Now, the best part, which is my best part, you don't even need to use your own money. So a lot of our deals that we're doing now, pretty much 99% of them actually, is funded by using investor capital, and we structure deals so that it allows us to pay that interest back and not leave any money in the deal. And if there is any money left in, then we use a creative way to pay that investor back initial and extra capital, so that they're also benefiting from the deal as well. But that's more of a safeguard in case there was money left in. So I'm going to talk you through my signature buy, refurbish, refinance 4-step M framework, which is mindset, market, money, and maximize. So each of these pillars will have subcategories, which is in the Fempowered Property Academy course. So let's go. So one of the first pillars, and a very important one, is mindset. If we do not work on our mindset, then it's likely that we will come in and sabotage our efforts and our beliefs, and we won't be able to facilitate this strategy and have a career in property. So we work on confidence, we nail the money beliefs and look at money mindset. What have we previously been telling ourselves about money? What's the narrative around people who do have a lot of money? Is there any negativity there? And then we look to reframe that as well. And if there is any fear and you feel like you are not speaking your voice and you find it difficult to talk to people, then we work on how to find your voice and how to feel more confident in the way that you come across and have better conversational skills, which is very, very useful when it comes to negotiation. I've also created a series which is called Fear to Fempowered, with really, really useful techniques so that you can go from fear to feeling ready and amazed and really fempowered, essentially, to get out there and take all of this action without any holdups from any old beliefs. And also all the tools and techniques to move past those hurdles. So all of these things we really need to nail before we move into looking at any property deals. The next one is market. So we look at the area and where that patch is going to be. So we need to think about what the exit is for that end product and that property. Is it going to be serviced accommodation and you'll be renting it out on a nightly basis? And there needs to be that demand there for it as well. Or is it going to be a HMO? So therefore, does it need to have those good transport links, or is it near a hospital or a university? We need to look at all of that within the market to make sure that the properties that you're finding, it matches up with the exit that you have for that. And then we stack it in multiple ways. We also need to look at the demand. As I said, if it's SA, then you need to make sure that you're going to have a good occupancy rate. And with HMOs as well, you need to make sure that we're not in a saturated market. If it's single lets that you're looking at, then it needs to be in an area where there is good rental demand. And then you can also look at social housing as well. Is it in an area which is useful for social housing, and is that a strategy that you can implement yourself as well? We also need to look at the legislation. For instance, if you are buying leasehold, can you do what you propose to do for that property? Is there any restrictions on that lease? If you're looking at HMOs, is it in an Article 4 area that restricts you from converting it into a HMO? And then you need to submit further planning. If it's a commercial to residential, is it likely that you get the change of use on that property? All of those things. And then for your team element, who is on the ground? Who do you have available? Do you have builders in that area? Can you look at reputable sources to find those? Do you have project management in the area if you can't logistically be close by? All of those things. The next one is money. So we need to be super clear. For me, this is the most important one. It all comes down to the figures. And with my accountancy and finance background, it's one that I'm very strong with as well. So we need to make sure that the purchase price and the costs and the end valuation is going to make this strategy possible. And then we need to look at the rental figures and the price per night to make sure that that income can absorb the costs of your mortgage and the bills, and that it's going to be a high performing property so that you can pull out all of the money and you can benefit from a high cash flow from each and every property that you do. You also need to know how to pull it together. So how do you stack that deal? And how are you going to fund it? So these are all really, really important pillars that I go through in the Property Academy course, and ones that you really, really need to nail before you move into the strategy. And then maximize. So essentially, it's taking this strategy and having a rinse and repeat cycle. So looking at outsourcing and how much time you have available, time that you actually want to spend on doing this. Can you outsource some of this and create a pipeline, either by utilizing sources who find the properties for you, outsourcing the management of these properties? If that's serviced accommodation and short-term rents, can you outsource the management of those guests checking in and out and all of that process? If it's single lets or HMOs, can you outsource to a management agent so that you can create that true passive income and just, have the benefits of that cash flow without any of the headache of the management? Because what you don't want to do is create another job for yourself unless you want to and you want to be hands-on. You need to make sure you've got the systems in place to manage that so that you can utilize all of the cash flow and all of that benefit from that. And then also, again, looking at pipeline, who's going to find and fund those deals for you. And then looking at branding as well, so you can attract in those investors to come and work with you so that you've got more funds available to rinse and repeat this cycle so that you can invest in more and more property. So how do we find high quality projects to add significant value and leave no money in? The answer is everywhere. So it might be one that you are unexpecting, but at the moment we are in a market which has way more deals available. Certainly over the last year and a half, 2 years, the market has been absolutely booming. So it's been harder to get a deal. It doesn't mean to say that they've not been out there, but we've certainly had a lot more competition. So right now there's a lot of good deals on Rightmove, Zoopla, all of the online estate agents. There's also sources that are out there looking at these deals for you, stacking the deals, presenting them to people so that there is these deals available. You've also only got to look around your local area. So a lot of the deals that we've done in our old local town before we moved away, we've sourced them just by looking around the area, sending letters, speaking to the local councils, having those conversations with people. knocking on the neighbours' doors, speaking to the postman about the history of the property, because they are walking around the streets all day, every day, and they're quite happy to have a conversation with you about stuff like that. So yeah, then it goes down to word of mouth. So just telling everybody what you're looking for and what you're doing, that really, really does go to show, because we've had lots of people bring us deals that aren't involved in property but have said, hey, have you seen this house? So make sure that you're speaking to as many people as possible about what you're doing. And you can also incentivize people to do the work for you. So you could say, if you find me a property and it's successful, then I will give you £500, something like that. We've done this on social media and we've actually got a deal from doing that. So that's one way that you can attract that in. So I'm just going to walk you through a very, very simple example now, so we can grasp the concept of buy, refurbish, refinance. So let's say we have a property and we've bought it for £100,000 and the refurbishment is £50,000. So our total investment is £150,000. We've uplifted the property value to £200,000 by adding this refurbishment in. We've then put a mortgage on the property, which is 75% loan to value. And this is the mortgage funds that have been paid out, 150, because they valued the property at 200 as well. We have 50,000 still left in the property as equity at the 25% value. And then this 75% pays back the initial investment. So therefore, you have zero of the initial investment left in the deal. So it's an all money out deal. So you still have your initial funds, and then you also have a property which you can then rent out and get that cash flow from. So here's a case study of a house that we did in Barnsley. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath terrace townhouse in Barnsley. We converted it to a 6-bed, 5-bath from HMO, and we purchased it for £81,000. The refurb with all other costs in, so that includes legal costs and like refinance costs and all of that. And also we purchased the lease on this property. So all in, it was £84,000 that we spent on the property, which was more than we bought it for, which is crazy. So we invested £165,000 in total. We then had the property valued at 225, which was amazing. And we had a 75% mortgage, and that paid back £178,750. So that figure is more than we invested into the property. So therefore, that mortgage actually paid out £3,750, and we still had £56,000 that we'd added in equity. We then rented it out, and the gross rental figure for this property was £2,554. With bills and mortgage payments, that came to £1,125. So cash flows £1,429.70. And because it's an all money out deal, our return on investment is infinite, because there is none of our initial capital left in the deal. And then here's a couple of photos of the finish of the property. So we took it all back to brick. We actually added a basement conversion. So the property was on a split level. So the rear entrance was lower than the front entrance, which allowed us to move the kitchen and the communal room into the basement, make that a habitable space, and then that freed up the rest of the house to create bedrooms and more bathrooms. So that's one way. So you've added square footage, but by not actually extending the footprint of the property. So there's the basement, and we turned it into a communal room. That's just when they poured the concrete. And here's the kitchen. So it's actually completely different rooms, but you wouldn't know apart from the window to look at it. So This was on the first floor initially, but we moved it down into the basement, as I said. So this picture here is the basement kitchen. And then here is another case study. So this is a house that we converted from a 3-bedroom, 2-bath mid-terrace to a 5-bedroom, 3-bath HMO. We've done this by adding a loft conversion. You can't see from this shot because it was actually before we did the refurbishment, but the windows for the loft conversion were behind the property, so you wouldn't know to look from the road. And we purchased it for $225,000. We spent $40,000 on the refurb, and that was a cosmetic refurb with loft conversion added in there. And the property was valued at $350,000. We put a 75% mortgage on it, and that paid out $262,500, and we still had $87,500 locked into the property as equity. We actually did leave a little bit left into this deal, but it's $2,500, so we were quite happy with that. Not bad for buying a property. And the gross rental figure as a 5-bedroom HMO was $2,730, less bills and mortgage at $1,200. The total cash flow for this one is £1,517 per calendar month for £2,500 left in. I mean, that's 2 months and you've paid that back. And the return on investment for this is $728,000. So you work out your return on investment by timesing the cash flow by 12 to create the annual cash flow figure. And then you divide it over the money left in and times it by 100, which will give you your return on investment sum. And here's some pictures of the finish of that property. We actually opened up this and created an open plan kitchen diner and opened up that wall. And there's me in the loft. And there's one of the loft bedroom spaces. And then here is another case study. So this one we did actually flip on, but I'm going to use it as an example because it's a really good example of how you can structure things with multiple exits. So what that basically means is that it works to do this deal and to facilitate it in many ways. So it could have been a flip, which is what we did. We sold it. It can also be refinanced and rented as a 4-bedroom HMO, or a single let property, or a SA as well, so a serviced accommodation house or short-term let. So the figures on this one, we purchased it for $165,000. That was through a compulsory purchase order through the council. Basically, this property had been left for 27 years. So these are the types of houses that you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for the ones that are so run down that nobody really wants to do because there's so much work involved. And then you can really add the value to the property and really uplift it so that you're covering your margins to get all your money out. So we had to spend a significant amount on this house. So it was $135,000 to refurb this. That was also because we added a extension to the rear, which you'll see in a couple of slides in a minute, and also a front porch, which is all done under permitted development. So you don't have to go through that lengthy planning process to do all extensions. That is permitted development, which you can add size to the property without having to go through that process. And it saves you a lot of time, money and effort so that you can get these deals done quickly, but you can still add square footage. So adding square footage is a really, really good way to uplift the property value. And we've seen that with example 1, where we converted the basement, and example 2 of adding a loft conversion, and then example 3 of actually adding square footage physically by using permitted development extensions. So we invested £300,000 into this house, and the property was valued at $415,000. We could have put a mortgage on it for $311,000, and the equity would have been $103,750, and then it would have paid us £11,250. Then we looked at the single let property rental figure, and we actually had somebody offer us $1,700 for this property on a 2-year basis on a corporate style let. And the mortgage was £983, and therefore the cash flow was £717 per calendar month, which again is an infinite return on your investment, because we would have had no physical cash left in the deal. This refurbishment cost actually includes all of the investor capital, as we funded the whole of this project, purchase of the house and the refurbishment with investor capital, and that's all in those refurb costs. So therefore, that deal was an infinite deal, and we could have refinanced it, kept it and rented it out. However, we decided to sell it, and we made £115,000 and used the cash to move abroad, essentially. So yeah, there was a method to not keeping this one. However, I do love this house, so I'm a little bit sad. So yeah, here's some pictures of the works that we did in the property. I feel like the pictures of the before do not do the house justice of how disgusting it really was. It was full of junk and lots of possessions from the previous owner, and it was like a TARDIS and time capsule because it had been left for so long. There was even cans of beans and stuff in the cupboard. It was very bizarre. So yeah, we created this lovely open plan space with that permitted development extension, which you can't quite see. It's actually behind these stalls, but I'll show you in the next couple of slides. So yeah, we created that open plan space. We made the toilet and separate bathroom into one bathroom. We also added a shower room downstairs as well. And here's the back extension onto the property. We also had a few articles about this house, which you can check out. You can always message me on Instagram and I'll send you the links if you're interested. So my mission, which is why I am doing this, and this is why I'm coaching females, is because I do not want anybody to be making choices out of financial disempowerment. I've seen it with family, with friends, and when I know that there's another way that they could be tackling this and giving themselves this independence, it would be a disservice for me not to share this with people. So I'm here, and my mission is to support hundreds of women this year alone to create financial independence and empowerment, to free them from jobs, relationships and situationships that no longer serve them but were held together by money, as a lot of them are. Inspire ladies to have more time to do passions, hobbies, and spend more time with loved ones, including location, time, and financial freedom, because after all, life is just too short. My mission is also to create high-level masterminds for women in property, to have a collective unity and support network, and to donate to charitable causes, which is already in process, but I want to create more of a difference. So we spoke about financial freedom throughout this masterclass, but what is financial freedom? So the definition for that is having enough residual income to cover your living expenses, to give you a choice about how you spend your time. So as a little exercise and a little thought process for you, what income would you need to be financially free? For you to get out of your job, or for the situation that you're finding yourself in that doesn't serve you? What does that need to be? And I'm not talking about luxuries or anything like that. I'm talking about covering your bills and for you to be okay to get yourself out of the job or the situation that you don't desire right now. And what is your current reality? Because you are only ever one decision away from a completely different life. And this is what happened to one of my clients, Lydia. So Lydia and her partner sourced and stacked a deal which cash flows £56,000 a year, which is £4,670 a month, with just £24,000 left into the deal, which is funded by an investor. So with that, it is a 234% return on investment on that money. Who would like to earn 4.6k per month from just one deal? Me, definitely, for sure. So this is what Lydia has to say about working with me.
Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and I am Ella's favourite student. Well, okay. But Ella is my coach and it's been an absolute privilege working with her, and I will continue to do so because of the quality that she delivers and how she's able to make complex information simple and easy to understand. Ella thinks outside of the box. She is a veteran in this industry and she is willing to give her time and her energy to ensure my success and yours. I would highly recommend that you reach out to her. Our success is her oxygen and she will deliver every time. Every time. Hi everyone, my name is Lydia.
I love that. Thank you,
Ella's
Lydia. And here is another testimonial from one of my clients as well. She is making massive moves with her short-term rental business. And she has just set up one on Airbnb, her first one, and is fully booked until February next year. So kudos to her, because it's been a massive jump into a different direction. Even though she was an estate agent previously, this is a completely different industry for her. So she is making moves already.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily and I'm one of Ella's one-on-one students. I've been working with Ella now for 6 to 8 weeks on a private coaching program and I've been loving every minute of it. I found Ella on the podcast as I've been kind of dragging my heels looking to get into the property industry but just not taking any action. And when I found Ella, it kind of made me realise that that's what I needed, and I need somebody to be accountable. I heard about her success that she's had herself within a relatively short period of time, and I just knew that it was time for me to start making some moves and really taking some action. So Ella has really helped me come up with a strategy and kind of easily digest some of the information. Because for me, it's totally new. I've got nothing to do with the property industry, and I really had no idea what I was doing. So Ella's content has really helped me build my knowledge, which has helped build my confidence, and I couldn't recommend it more. Ella is wonderful. She's so supportive, and I'm just so thankful to be working with her. Thanks. Hi everybody, my name is Emily and
they just make my heart sing. This is why I love working with females and creating a difference to them. And when they're making moves like that, it's just so important and so rewarding for me as well. And here is another client of mine as well, Lisa. She has been working with me and we've been building her knowledge around the property industry, and she is making some big moves now as well. So do you think this could work for you? Do you think you could be one of these people that is giving me a testimonial and talking about your success? Because I absolutely believe that if I can do it, then you can do it. I came from a very, very different background and very different lifestyle to what I have now. And in such a short space of time, been able to turn that around, to have financial freedom, to now have location freedom, to have excess of funds to be able to do what I want to do. So why can I do this if you can't? It's absolutely not correct. Of course you can. So you can definitely make this work for you. So that's where my Fempowered Property Academy comes in, to support the women that want to have the education around property, to learn the strategy inside out, to have that community around them so that they have no excuses not to be successful in this property industry, because they have all the support and the knowledge that they need. So there's 4 pillars in the Buy, Refurbish, Refinance, Rent course, which is what I talked about earlier. And each of these categories have subcategories that come off of it. So we do modules on each of these so that collectively this builds our awareness and our knowledge to build these deals, so that we can build a property portfolio which has passive income and generational wealth for that financial freedom and that time freedom that we all desire. So what is included in my Fempowered Property Academy? So it is a 12-month mentoring academy which gets you fast results that will last for generations. So at the moment, I am offering a one-to-one 60-minute initial consultation to map out your route to financial and property success. It gives you lifetime access to the Fempowered Property Academy, which includes the Buy, Refurbish, Refinance 4-step framework course. There's also fortnightly group calls to get the support and the answers there is so there is no hold up to your progress. There's also goal setting sessions and Q&A sessions so that you can all learn from each other. There is also a property deal analysis service. So I will personally check over your deals and give you some feedback as long as you get the correct information to me. What I would have benefited from when I first got into this industry was having somebody's eyes overlooking my deals, because I've learned the hard way. I've done a lot of training, but just this in itself would have saved me thousands of mistakes and thousands of pounds worth of mistakes, which I do not want for my clients. And therefore, I am there every step of the way to check over your deals, to make sure you're only doing the very best and you're thinking about everything that may possibly happen. And I can look at it from a different point of view because I do have that experience. And essentially, you don't know what you don't know. So because I've had to go through those lessons, unfortunately, the hard way, I'm here to help you not make those same mistakes so that you make sure you're getting maximum profitability out of each and every deal. We also have a kick-ass, amazing online community of women who are collectively smashing it together. There is a quotation which has just escaped my mind, but it's something along the lines of, there is nothing more powerful than women linked arm in arm walking towards the same goals together. And there's so much truth in that, because when you have a community around you and the support that you need, there is no way that you aren't held accountable for your success. And if you're having a funk or you need somebody to talk to, then there's always that community around you so that they can pick you back up again, which is exactly why I've created it. You also have all the tools that you need. So the deal calculators, the spreadsheets, the tech, the contacts, the letter templates, marketing brochures, also contracts that I have had to pay thousands for myself. You get all of that included so that you can make sure that you have everything you need to make this property business a success for you, as it has been for me. I've also included some bonuses for this masterclass only. So there is a 1-hour check-in one-to-one with me, in addition to the initial one-to-one session, so that we can check in on your success halfway through. You can bring any questions or any challenges that you may have to the session, and I can help you one-to-one. As a bonus, number 2, there is a Fear to Fempowered series, which I will be gifting included in this package. It is a series of mindset tips and tools that you can go through so that you can come out of a place of fear to feeling fempowered and ready to take on this strategy, so that we're really working together on that collective mindset to push forward for your goals. There is also monthly guest expert speaker masterclasses that will be coming in and sharing their knowledge and their wealth, either in the business or the property industry. So off the top of my head at the moment, we have branding experts that work solely in the property industry, brokers for mortgages, insurance, business coaches, money mindset coaches, just amazing women that are collectively working together to make the world a better place and to empower us females and to have everything that we need to make everything successful. So how much is this worth? Let's look. So included in the calls in the package is group mentoring calls at 6,000, the course at 3,000, the initial one-to-one strategy session. I charge 10,000 to work with me one-to-one. So that is one session at £800. 12-month property deal analysis service. I mean, I feel like this is very undervalued here, because £1,500 for somebody to look over my deals, I would have paid 10 times over, because of, every hard lesson that I've had to learn. Also the private online community at 500, the bonuses 800, the Fear to Femme Empowered series. This will be going onto my website at that price of £1,000. And also the monthly masterclass meetings as well with the guest expert speaker at 800. So the total value is £17,400, but I am offering it at £3,997, a fraction of that £17,000 price. So let's have a think. What will it cost you if you don't have this now? What is that impact for you? Is it disempowerment? Do you stay at a job and continue trading your time for money? Are you going to waste more time thinking about what you're going to change and where you're going to get to? Is it going to be another year that you'll set new resolutions for change? Or are you going to take that action now? Are you going to choose your fear over your dreams, which is what I did for many, many years because I didn't know any other way? Are you going to miss out on this early bird pricing because as the Fempowered Property Academy adds more courses, the price will be going up? Will you miss out on time, location, and financial freedom and continue with the life that you currently lead if it's not serving you? Are you going to miss out on creating generational wealth for you and your family for years to come? So I invite you to ask yourself, what is the cost of you staying where you currently are? What does your life look like in 1 month, 12 months, 5 years? Does it look the same? And are you happy with how it looks? Because if you're not, then something needs to change. And here's just a little reminder of how things used to be for me. And my ethos is truly that if I can do it, then anybody can, because I've had so many challenges from a mindset aspect and from not having any money and all of that stuff to not make it happen. But I really felt like there wasn't any alternative and I had to go all in. So this was our flat 6 years ago. It was in a council estate and we rented it for, I think it was £400 at the time for a month. But it was, and still is, the roughest place in Andover where I grew up. And you can even look it up if you like. The place is called King Arthur's Way. So we lived here in a little studio flat. And then this is where I live now, in a beautiful house in the mountains in Mallorca. It has 7 acres, a pool, this huge terrace. You can actually see a picture of me. Me in the picture stood on the terrace. So you can see how big that terrace is. And behind it is these beautiful, breathtaking views. And I'm just so grateful every day that property has enabled me to have this lifestyle. And for also now that I am financially free and have residual funds, that I can now share this with other women and I can help them to have exactly the same and change their current reality, which is what sets my soul on fire now. And this is one of my favorite quotes that I often refer back to if I'm having any resistance in the next level up of where I want to get to and what's stopping me from getting that next level success. I always come back to this, and it's, if you think you can or if you think you can't, then you're right. And it's so true. If you think about this and you really think that you can do something, I'm telling you, you will achieve it 100%. If you put yourself 100% in and you go all in on your beliefs and what you're capable of, then it is 100% accessible to you. And I'm here to support you through it every single way. But if you think you can't, then absolutely, you're right. You won't be able to have the success for you. So what is it going to be? So to join the Fempowered Property Academy, I will put the links in the website below so you have access to all of that. I also have an online Facebook community called the Fempowered Financial Freedom Society. So I will also include links to that so you can join there as well. I will be going into that group, going live, sharing tips, free trainings, and showing this masterclass in there as well. So if you have any questions at all, or you would like to jump on a call and discuss the Academy or one-to-one coaching any further, please do find me at Instagram at Ella_the property coach, and I look forward to hearing from you. Well done for investing this time into your personal development, and speak soon.